So she's not going to release it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she tweeted out, okay, I'm not going to put out the album anymore. No more music. Hope you're happy now. At SC. Bye, Barbs. Love you for life. Apparently, at SC is a fan account from JayZ that's like always tweeting about JayZ.
The tea in the Nicki versus Beyonce saga just went nuclear. This isn't petty timeline sniping anymore. It's full-on industry warfare with reputations on the line and yes, kids being dragged into the mess. Here's the breakdown. Every twist, every shade, every quiet power move behind the scenes. By the end, the question won't be whether there's drama. It'll be whether Nicki crossed a line she can't walk back or whether she's pushing back against forces bigger than her. Let's get into it. For months now, Beyonce has kept her distance. She stayed silent while Nicki Minaj lobbed shade left and right. But apparently the queen has been plotting behind the scenes. Word is, Nicki underestimated the Carter machine, and now things are closing in fast. Insiders say Beyonce's quietly activating her connections. And guess what? It's looking like Nicki's next album might take the hardest crash of her career.
As we wrap and speaking of stages, Nicki Minaj also posted that she is not going to put out the album anymore, no more music, and she said
Oh my God, no way.
She added JayZ and asked was he happy now. She said she called the Barbs on the Barb phone and they said no, don't put out the music.
Now I know she's not blaming that headline on Rock Nation.
The whispers in the music world are getting louder. They're saying Beyonce's been pulling strings, subtly but effectively. And yes, the walls are moving in. Until recently, there was sort of an unwritten rule in rap. You don't speak on people's children. But Nicki, she crossed that line. She didn't just aim at Beyonce and JayZ, she went straight for their kids. That's when many felt she lost all boundaries. Fans, critics, even casual observers started asking, what's going on with her? Her social media rants have become increasingly chaotic. One second, she's calling out Cardi B's kids. The next, she's dragging Beyonce's children into this war. And this is the same woman who once swore, I will never speak ill of someone's child. Yet there she was, doubling down, acting wild for clout. Now people are pointing out the hypocrisy. Some allege that Nicki's own son might have developmental challenges, so it's being framed as wild that she goes at others' kids while having struggles of her own. The shade is heavy. The narrative is that she's making it too easy for her haters currently. Right now, her obsession with Beyonce and JayZ seems like it's been brewing for years.
Nicki Minaj, she's not the one singing. It's actually the voice of JayZ. If you grab a Nicki Minaj song and pitch it down, I've got an example. You can actually hear JayZ.
It's like she blames them for every setback, every flop, every feud. Remember her meltdown last year when she lashed out at JayZ during her beef with Megan Thee Stallion? She claimed he and his camp were blocking her bag, trying to freeze her out of the industry. And now this war has gotten even messier. A leaked snippet passed around stan accounts and gossip pages purportedly captured Nicki unloading on Desiree, a powerhouse executive linked to JayZ, accusing her of firing people just to derail Nicki's momentum and calling her obsessed and intent on replacing her. In the same orbit of clips and lives, Nicki allegedly turned her fire on hip-hop journalist Elliott Wilson after he criticized her Kai Cenat livestream where she was pushing the new album, casting him as on Jay's payroll and implying his coverage was less critique than allegiance. The rhetoric got raw. She's even said things like, Leo, if you'd spit JayZ's D out for 1 second, you'd finally be able to be happy for the newcomers. She snapped before broadening the charge to a whole media tier. She says feels emboldened by proximity to the Carters.
Hell can silence them damn bars.
Man. Nobody can silence them bars.
What are we talking about here?
Well, okay, so let's back it up. So Nicki Minaj did a verse on the Carter 6, the bonus version of the album. Yeah. It's called Banned from NO.
When y'all have an affiliation to JayZ, y'all be thinking that y'all can disrespect and violate. The fallout spilled beyond the usual stand back and forth. Blogs clipped and recirculated the sound bites. Industry watchers debated whether this was fearless truth-telling or bridge burning in real time. And Nicki's critics argued that turning a media critique into personal insults only hardened the perception that she's feuding on every front, while her supporters insisted she was naming the power dynamics others tiptoe around. Now the drama has gone nuclear. Bridges burning faster than anyone can rebuild them. And if Beyonce really is moving in silence, this could be the strike that dents Nicki's standing for good. Nicki fires back that this is the oldest play in the book to smear her name, insisting she's always supported newcomers. I've done songs with all of them, and demanding to know why critics won't celebrate a young black man like Kai tomorrow. Then she drops the bomb. She says JayZ personally engineered her arrest during the European leg of the Pink Friday 2 tour, a chess move meant to knock her off the board.
To say this, every label passed up on me. Every record company passed up on me. Every crew, you know, like, I'm from New York. Jay's crew and 50's crew didn't sign me. You know, I wasn't signed to Nas, and, you know, I wasn't signed to anybody, you know?
In her telling, Amsterdam authorities accused her of smuggling illegal substances. Cameras caught the detainment and the internet watched in shock. She recounts officers saying every bag had to be offloaded and searched, her asking why that wasn't done before the luggage went on the plane, and agents prying open her cases while peppering her with questions about whether she had more than she'd admitted. She claims her bags were whisked onto the aircraft before she could verify what was where, then yanked back off under the guise of customs. The whole thing, she says, designed to humiliate her mid-tour, stall her schedule, and script a narrative of instability. From there, the story widens. Nicki alleges people on her own team flipped for payouts, feeding Roc Nation details of her movements so the trap could be sprung precisely. And she frames the airport episode as one beat in a larger score, a coordinated effort to freeze her out, bruise her reputation, and sap her momentum. Gossip blogger Storm Monroe, who bills himself as plugged into Hollywood back channels, amplifies that angle, claiming a mole in Nicki's camp tipped off the right hand so Dutch police would be primed before she touched down. Less coincidence, more choreography.
Yeah, that was a part of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
She
and how
also
did JayZ ruin all these sports?
Oh my God!
Well, she felt like Lil Wayne. She feels like Lil Wayne should have been the performer at the Super Bowl in New Orleans.
That is funny as hell. Read that one again. What he said. JayZ.
She did a whole list.
Nicki admits she's had rocky encounters with authorities in the Netherlands before, but says the pattern has turned eerie. Every time she's set to perform there, something goes sideways. She even floats that a member of security might have unknowingly carried something extra, turning a minor wrinkle into a made-for-camera spectacle. According to Storm's version, officials told her to come to the station and give a statement. She marched in, defiant, and soon found herself behind bars, proof, in his telling that the machine was already humming. In Nicki's narrative, it all connects. Paid insiders, weaponized bureaucracy, and calculated optics. The kind of slow-motion sabotage that doesn't just disrupt a night, it tries to rewrite a career. She pushed past the airport chaos and aimed at the money, saying JayZ still owes her from the TIDAL era. In her version, it starts in 2015, when he rallied her, Rihanna, Alicia Keys, and others to front the platform with promises of real ownership and long-term upside. She says she held an equity slice and treated it like sweat investment, only to watch the reported $300 million sale close without a payout. Her math, roughly a 3% stake worth about $8.9 million. What she alleges arrived instead was silence, then a $1 million offer tied to an NDA, a take-this-and-hush deal she called insulting and out of step with what was promised. She refused, went public, and framed the moment as a line in the sand. If the equity was real, honor it. Don't try to buy silence on the back end. Beyonce and Jay didn't answer directly. No statements, no quotes, just the ripple of Miss Tina's caption that read like shade before it was edited, and Solange's cryptic imagery that fans took as a warning. Debate exploded anyway. Supporters argued artists get sold ownership that's more marketing than math, and that an NDA stapled to a lowball check looks like sanitizing history. Detractors countered that equity is contracts, vesting, dilution, prefs, clawbacks, and headline sale prices rarely map cleanly to individual checks after fees and prior investors.
Yeah.
Like Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sean Carter. S.C. Sean Carter, yeah.
Okay. Well, it is JayZ.
Right.
And she tweeted that to him, but I'm just like, he's not going to be mad or happy about it, you know? Like, it's like, and then you were teasing this album a whole year before, right after the Cardi B album.
Why would you say?
Nicki folded the money fight into her larger thesis. The arrest, the alleged blackbelling, and now the TIDAL payout as the financial core of a broader pattern. Whether any of it gets tested in court or dies in the group chats, the narrative function is already clear for her base. A business deal turned battleground. And one more reason the doors feel colder than they used to. The reaction from Beyonce's side, at least as fans perceived it, began with Miss Tina's Instagram. Shortly after Nicki's barrage, she shared a photo of herself and Beyoncé with a caption that many read as a pointed subtweet. "Good morning. It feels good to wake up knowing my faves didn't lose their minds like some people. Y'all have a great day. Remember to ignore the ignorance." The post detonated across timelines, drawing a flood of comments accusing her of shade, and within hours the caption was edited with a clarification that it wasn't aimed at anyone in particular, just a reflection on her relationship with her daughter. By then, the moment had already done its work. The original read had been screenshotted, recycled, and dissected, and the sense that the Carter Circle was done playing polite had taken root. Then Solange appeared to add a quieter art house chord to the same melody. Without naming names, she posted a series of moody, symbolic images, idols, ritual motifs, enigmatic compositions that fans immediately interpreted as a spiritual warning shot in Nicki's direction. The kind of message that doesn't bother with punctuation because the vibe says it all. Back off. Instead of easing up, Nicki swung back toward JayZ, pulling one of his most sensitive rumors into the center ring. She resurfaced long-circulating paternity claims by a man named Reimer Satterthwaite, alleging Jay fathered him when his mother was 16 and has avoided a DNA test. The spark was a 50-cent post about court movement in that matter. Nicki amplified it with her own caption asserting a judge had allowed the case to proceed and had set a deadline for a response. Whether any of that would hold up under formal scrutiny wasn't the point for the discourse. The effect was to pour gasoline on a story Jay has historically kept private, forcing it into the heat of an already raging feud. From there, the temperature around Nicki's career seemed to drop a few degrees at a time.
She's talking about
like, come on, now. Like, let's stop now. Like, come on, we don't got to be ridiculous now. Do I think
What's that T-shirt you wear all the time, Charlamagne? What's that T-shirt you wear?
Blame Rock Nation.
There you go.
Yes, damn, you missed the cue to wear it.
I missed my flight yesterday. You know why? Rock Nation.
The narrative was that Beyoncé, previously content to float above the noise, had shifted posture once her children were invoked, and that her camp was now engaging in the kind of sleek, strategic pressure play that never announces itself. Fans said they could feel it. Sponsors that had been circling suddenly stepped back. Interviews penciled onto media calendars evaporated with scheduling conflicts. Festival appearances that had been teased or even announced were quietly updated without her name. And on the streaming side, new releases appeared to roll out without the usual marquee placements. It wasn't a public drag or a messy call-out. No press statements, no quote tweets, just a series of small, deniable absences that taken together read like a weather pattern. Whether that pattern was engineered or coincidental is impossible to prove from the outside, but the effect was unmistakable. The feud no longer felt like loud personalities colliding on social media. It felt like machinery turning in the background, reputations and relationships recalibrating in real time, and a message transmitted without a single direct taglines were crossed. And the consequences wouldn't arrive as a headline. They'd arrive as a chill that wouldn't lift. The tipping point came when Nicki invoked Beyoncé's children, crossing a line most artists treat as sacred. And from that moment, the mood around the feud shifted. What had read as a noisy back and forth suddenly felt personal, with the stakes raised from bruised egos to long-term legacy and brand protection. Almost immediately, Nicki reignited hostilities with Cardi B, tossing barbs about Cardi's kids and daring her to escalate. Cardi fired back in kind, with comments many read as a dig at Nicki's own son. The fallout was instant and everywhere. Timelines flooded, stan armies remobilized, and the discourse hardened into camps as bees versus barbs resurfaced and trended. Commentators, bloggers, and casual fans alike weighed in with the same basic message: keep the fight between grown artists and leave the children out of it. While more incendiary voices argued that once you make it personal, you can't expect restraint from the other side. As the noise swelled, the speculation turned strategic. People began to say that if Beyoncé's circle chose to respond, it wouldn't be with a messy public drag, but with the kind of quiet, surgical pressure that actually changes outcomes. Fewer prime placements, fewer handshakes, fewer green lights. Tweets and posts made the rounds, variations on whatever issue you've got with JayZ. Keep it there, watch your mouth when it comes to Beyoncé and her kids, and the barbs might be wild, but they're not the hive. Capturing the sense that the culture would tolerate almost anything except taking swipes at children. Whether those warnings were just stan bravado or a read on how the industry really works, the takeaway was the same. Lines were crossed that don't get uncrossed, and if there was going to be a response from the Carters, it would land not as a clapback, but as a cold front moving through Nicki's ecosystem, hitting her brand and her bag long after the tweets disappear. Here's where it gets messy. Insiders insist Beyoncé's camp isn't trading jabs in public so much as tightening screws in private. What looks like quiet sabotage, spooling out in small, deniable ways that add up. The story goes that producers once aligned with Nicki, including names like Hit Boy and Mike Will Made It, abruptly unfollowed her as others quietly drifted from sessions, while executives in back-channel conversations allegedly warned that she'd become too controversial for brand partnerships. Around the same time, promoters and sponsors supposedly started getting cold feet. New singles arrived without the prime playlisting and front-page positioning on Spotify and Apple Music that had once been routine. Interviews penciled in on media calendars evaporated, and her name slipped off festival lineups she'd already been announced for. The kind of administrative updates that never come with explanations. Maybe it's coincidence, maybe it's the market, but the timing feels too precise to shrug off, especially when each small setback lands right as the feud intensifies. Nicki's response has been just as relentless as the pressure she says she's feeling. She flooded feeds with throwback triumphs and long, raw captions about loyalty and betrayal, sharpening a narrative that she's being punished for refusing to play by unspoken rules. One line became a rallying cry. They only love you when you're controllable. When you stop playing the game, they call you crazy, and the post carrying it surged past 1 million likes, hardening her base's belief that Beyoncé and Jay are moving pieces in the shadows. Whether that theory holds or not, the chill in the room is unmistakable. This has stepped beyond ordinary rap drama into a high-stakes grind over survival, leverage, and who gets to own the story when the lights come up. We're watching a full-blown industry Cold War unfold. In one corner, Nicki, defiant, unpredictable, doubling down. In the other, Beyoncé and JayZ, quiet, composed, strategic. The next move could end things for real. So what do you think? Was Nicki out of line for going after Beyoncé and JayZ's kids? Did she cross a boundary that even hip-hop wars don't cross? Or is this her only defense to fight back with every weapon she's got? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you want more deep dives like this. And don't forget to subscribe, because with these two giants battling, you know the next chapter is going to hit different.